Okay, there's something cool I want to show you. So right around this area, they got about 1 3/4 inches worth of rain. And this right here is the flat that we pattern tile on 20-foot centers. You can see each and every single one of the runs working, drawing down the extra moisture in the soil. But if you can see this, the distance in between the lighter brown spots where the runs are is a lot closer there. Therefore, it's drawing down the moisture quicker than when we run up the road, and you can see it on a 40-foot center. So then as we go up the road here, we're headed towards a flat that my dad pattern tiled how long ago? About 10 years ago, and it was on 40-foot centers. And you can see the gap in between each one of those and compared to the 20-foot gap. But when you hit this here, you can see there's a run, big gap, 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 there's a run. But it's still drawing down the moisture, but there's just a lot more black dirt or darker dirt in between each and every single run. And when in a really wet year, you can actually see that in the crop. The crop creates a wave. It's not as bad now that we farm it east and west, but when it was north and south, it was really bad, wasn't it? You could see the unevenness in the crop. But you can tell every single one of them's working. Welcome back to good old Southern IA. Back to planting. It's actually going to be my plot planting day, which takes forever. See it vibrating? That means it's windy outside. But what's new? We're doing good, but it's almost noon. We haven't even gotten the chance to start the tractor yet. Good.
Look, I know this trick. You sucker. You make yourself sneeze every time you land on the back, you know that? Ugh.
So difficult. You're so difficult. Dad was definitely the last one to ride in this. Air seat all the way up. Tillage yoga. Oh boy, that guy is not having a good day. Looks like one of his axles came off. There we go, all filled up. That's the plan. Can you get out of that side?
Not when you're fat.
61 can go there. 62 is fine here. 63, 61,
59 to 60.
Yep. Those will be the first ones. 59, 60. That's my buddy Alex. He's gonna help me with the plot here today. This is a 2-man job. My other friend Austin helped me last year. The replacement now. One, there's 3 traps on each side. The first one's going to be see, that's pretty empty. So then you go to the next trap. Whoop. Apparently it was just bridged up a little bit. Okay, let's go to the next one. There we go. And then the last one. You know what it is? Molly does the grocery shopping now, so I don't get the practice of carrying all the groceries
At once, yeah.
So, all right, so all this, let's just see if all in the one bag. So set that bag, let's set that bag that I just set all the way up there and down. Okay. Now we do this. So we got loaded in the first hybrid, which is the one that I'm planting the rest of the field with, which is 64A20. This is not technically hybrid number 1 for us, but since I'm using RTK, which is some-inch accuracy, like year after year I could plant or drive on the same tracks over and over within an inch because of that base station up on that. So what that does is, like, that base station over there surveys it and tells me, like, it's monitoring the globes, and so that becomes a fixed point. That makes sense. Since this is not a fixed point, it's moving throughout the field, it doesn't know exactly where it's at. Right. That receiver right there has got the same satellites trying to talk to it. Since the same satellites are trying to talk to it, it knows, since it's surveyed and it's saying, hey, I am in this spot and I don't move, it will, and the satellites are telling me that I'm a foot off to the left or something like that, it corrects it and sends that transmission to this, knowing that it's in a fixed spot. That's how it does that. So that's good. We're good with that. We are good with that one. That's a good A/B line. Gotta go to the other end of the field and then plant this one. So this planter will turn itself on and off, but it has to be in the spot where it's already planted. Therefore, I need to have my end rows on this side of the field. So I'm going to plant, and my plot's just going to be like this section here. So I need to square this off and put end rows here. And then I got to go to pass number 11, because pass number 11 is the end of my plot. Since there's only 10 passes in this, and put an edge on this side of the plot as well, because I need to be able to plant the seed out and then plant the strip. Right. Because there's seeds in the meter that won't be the hybrid that I'm trying to plant. It's freaking way complicated. You're planting corn. This is as exciting as everything you ever thought it'd be.
Yeah. Pretty interesting. How many fields you got left this year? No.
I have no soybeans. Yeah, I got quite a bit. I got quite a bit left to do. I don't have any soybeans in the ground yet.
Can you send me how the hell you guys spend one minute? Text her through. Not nice camera.
You can say, hey, you can send your boyfriend over. He'd probably fit here too.
She ain't got one.
Yeah. These plots take a lot of effort to get in. They're worth doing, but they take a lot of effort to get in. And there's a lot of stuff that goes on that you got to manage while you're trying to do it. Everything should be controlled through this monitor right here, and that will make taking in or putting in and taking out these plots easier, because when I go to harvest this, I really don't need to do anything other than make sure the monitor is calibrated, because the way that I put in all the data tells me what happened in the plot. The one thing you have to do is you got to manage all of your A/B lines. So I got a plot data here. So we'll load it, plant 21, check mark, over. Okay, now that's our A/B line for the plot. That's now pulled up. And then here's where all the data part comes in. I put it all in the product. So right now we have 61A19 in, which is what we're actually going to plant next. Hold on here, make sure I don't go into the fence. So on this side of the planter, which is this one right there, we're going to want to have it at 35,000 population. On the other side of the planter, we're going to want to have it at 32,000 population. 61A19 VT2 35K. So that means When I harvest it, it's going to come up and say that, and it's planted at 35,000. So I got to make sure my rate is at 35,000. Here's my 32,000 rate. I got to go and make sure my 32,000 rate is also planted there. Boom. There we go. Now we can actually go and plant. Since I enter these as like a hybrid and change the populations and things like that, when I harvest this fall, it'll just come up as a bunch of hybrid lists in the plot, even though there was populations on some of them and everything like that. It'll read out, it'll tell me the average moisture and everything. The only thing that I don't gather from my plot is test weight, and I don't actually have a way to gather the test weight, otherwise I would. So then if we roll over here from the monitor, you'll be able to see that I keep planting different colors here as I plant along, and that's how it keeps track of the hybrids. Plot is fun to do and fun to see all year long, but data wise it's not that great because the ground on my side of the road is not very uniform. It goes from pretty good dirt to marginal dirt. Some of it has pattern tile underneath it. So on my side of the road, when I do a plot, it's more of a look at the characteristics of the hybrids. When I can do a plot on my dad's side of the road, that's a lot more uniform dirt. It's all pattern tile. You can really see the head-to-head comparison on the hybrids, even though it does fall off from one side to the other. I guess I could go find, you know, a 1/4 of an acre and put in 3 strip plots and really feed it and just tell you how great these hybrids are or whatever, but that's not real life. And that does me no good because I plant these hybrids. I want to know how they actually perform in real life. But every now and then I actually have to input a new hybrid because Champion comes out with a new hybrid that's not available for this year's planting, but it is available for next year's planting. So this one is 61A22 VT2. So you add 50 to the first number, so this is 111 day. And then the A is a placeholder, 22 is when it came out, VT2 is the traits, which sadly means that one of my favorite hybrids that's worked really darn good for us here the last few years, won my plots last year, dry down's great, does a great job on our dirt down here, is potentially on the chopping block because they think that this hybrid's even better than the one that we've been planting and really like. Hopefully it is. Hopefully we just leave 61A19 in the dust. They're right next to each other. We'll see what happens. And especially because I think 61A19 is on a little bit better dirt. So if 61A22 can beat 61A19, if not, dibs on all the leftover 61A19. That's one strip. Next one though, we're going to be doing 62A21, which is a racehorse hybrid. And in this plot this year, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to do one hybrid at an ultra low population, I think in 26,000, and one at a high population or an ultra high population for us, which is 38,000. good job?
I did a good
Yeah.
job.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Get out of
Yeah. Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, fast forward or it's exactly a week actually. We just got an 1.5 inches of rain last night. Came down pretty nice. Well, I'm assuming that because there's not washes everywhere. And I was asleep when it was raining.
Where'd she go?
She's in the tall foot.
Go get down, little flu.
I've got to get out here and actually mark the planter breaks, otherwise I'll lose track of where they were. But we ended up with 11 hybrids and 20 different test strips, which will put everything right there in case you're wondering what's in this plot this year.
Oh, she just did a somersault.
The plot ended up planting pretty much as good as I would hope for. Got a good rain on it. Had a difficult first week. I mean, it wasn't a bad first week, but it was a cooler first week. But we'll dig one up here in a second as soon as we get done marking some flags.
Split.
First year I did this plot, or started doing plots with Champion, I've done plot days. Last year a plot day didn't happen due to the Rona. Maybe it will happen this year. If you might be interested in seeing this stuff, send me an email, but it's for Champion, not just meet and greet. But that also doesn't happen until the corn's like early September. Wow. We got some worms in there. Hopefully don't break anything off here. But right there is our week's worth of growth. He's moving. Anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for the plot planting video. Plot
Plant party.
plant party. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thanks for sticking with planting this plot with me. We'll see you the next time. This is little May.
We decided it was time for a new family member. This is Lola May. She's a mini golden doodle. And she's so cute. Yeah.
You want to see how a majestic dog runs, Lola?
Come on. Lola May. What are you doing? Are you stuck? Got short little legs.